Hey everybody, it's Eric with What's in the Box, and we are joined again by William Chandler, and we are going to discuss this really cool event that he's putting on in Aledo, Texas, called the Parker County Literary Fest 2026. Did I get that right?
Yes.
That's awesome. So are you from the Aledo area?
No, I've been here for the last 5 years.
Okay.
My wife grew up here,
Oh, cool.
and and as the kids got older, we wanted to make sure they were in a really good school district, and it is a really good school district, and my wife's parents are still there, so we made the move 15 minutes west of where we were in Fort Worth, and it's a it's a growing place. There basically is no separation now between Aledo and Fort Worth, so.
Yeah, I've got a good friend that lives out there, and I remember when it was, you know, kind of the place to move to, and it was isolated in a way, but yeah, like you said, it's grown so much over the last couple years that it's almost, and the whole area is that way, really. I mean, when we say DFW, it's hard to separate into the little parts. You can get away with saying Dallas or Fort Worth depending on which major city you live near, because it's just kind of absorbing everything. But yeah, no, Aledo's a really nice place. I enjoy the neighborhoods, and like you said, the schools and stuff. Is My friend's daughter grew up in that system and stuff, so I've heard
Yeah.
nothing but good things.
Well, I could tell you other things, but
I'm sure, right? In every
let's
neighborhood, everything's
focus
got
on the good
its
things.
it's got
Yeah.
its ups and downs. But I think it's really cool that you are putting together this awesome festival, Book Fest.
Yeah.
Um, why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, I'm basically 14 months into my career as an author, going to book festivals, trying to get book signings, whether it be, author cons or just one off individual book signings at stores.
Hmm.
And the common denominator, or the one thing that I keep running into, is that I'm going to be driving far places. And not even to mention traveling out of state for like book fests like you've done. I've only remained in Texas, and I've still put on a ton of mileage just going to places in Texas.
Yeah,
And I
Texas
mean,
is crazy. Everything's so far apart.
exactly. And it's like a necessary evil, because you want to reach new readers, you want to put your book in places that it hasn't been before. But just from a kind of a financial standpoint, like I'm behind the eight ball, and our cars are very clearly like showing wear and tear.
Hmm.
And so I would have the idea, why don't I start one of these in Aledo or in Parker County? Because that was the funny thing, is that I noticed I hadn't seen one, hadn't noticed anything that even resembled an author con or a comic con or a book fest in Parker County. And normally when I have an idea like that, I think about it, I get really inspired, and then, there's another shiny new toy and I forget
Right.
about this idea. But this time I was like, no, I want to do this. And so I did. And I reached out to people on social media. I reached out to other authors, and I think I was I was hoping that people would be interested and want to join. And I knew that the venue I had selected was fairly small, for only 28 authors basically can fit into this place comfortably,
Hmm.
without making people, kind of uncomfortable or think that you're cheating them
Right.
by squeezing them in like sardines. And I think by the time that you and me did Horror Lit Fest in Irving, and I was worried about people attending this one, unbeknownst to me, while we were there that weekend, it had already filled up. And so I actually talked to other authors about doing it that weekend, not knowing that it had filled up.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, yeah, and because I didn't want to kind of be a an organizer who like picks and chooses based
Right.
on popularity or whatever, it was literally first come first serve.
Yeah, I think that's a good
And
way of
so,
doing it.
yeah, I mean, like, people that really, show that initiative and really are hungry, to do something like that, they will participate and they'll register really quickly. And so I put it out there and it filled up quick. And now I have a waiting list for people that are, authors that are hoping that someone has to back out or whatever for,
Hmm.
God forbid, anything serious. And so it's a very good sign. And hopefully it's, a sign of more of these to come in future years.
Well, I'll tell you, 100% Fort Worth, even, and I'll even throw Dallas in there, although they've gotten better. The last couple of years, my complaint has been we don't have enough events in our area. And
Exactly.
I'm having to go to Houston or Austin or San Antonio, or you got to go down, every once in a while they'll pop up here or there, but it's nothing consistent. And I don't understand why DFW isn't just dominating the market because there is a hunger for readers. I see it every time I
Exactly.
do an event in this area, but Fort Worth for sure because Dallas is getting a little better with it. And the 1 day pop-ups are happening a little bit more, but Fort Worth is still a little behind on that. So it's awesome to hear that you guys are getting this going, and maybe you'll be the shining example for other people to follow suit. Before we get any farther, though,
Yeah.
I never said when it was. It's in September, but I don't know the date.
Yeah. So it is Saturday, September 19th
Okay.
at the Alito Community Center in Alito, Texas, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
All right. Perfect. And we'll have all that information down below and links so that you can. Is there a Facebook page or a website or anything?
Yeah, so I have a page for it on my website
Okay.
that
Good.
like
Perfect.
that has all the information, and I'm trying to update that as soon as possible. I thought that I would be able to have all the author spotlight,
Hmm.
posts kind of in one, just repository that you can look and see all the authors, but apparently the engine that, maintains my website, it doesn't really work like that. So I'm gonna have to figure out a more efficient way to do that on the website. But and then on the social media, I mean, as you've seen, there have been tons of author spotlight posts on
Yeah,
both
for sure.
Facebook and Instagram, and I have a list of all the authors in all the genres they write in, um, that I've posted and put on my TikTok story as well. So
And just so people know, this is an all genre event. So there is going to be some horror represented, but there's also going to be a lot of other different things. And I think that's really fun when you get all the authors to come together and they kind of show off all the different things that everybody likes to read and they like to write.
yeah,
I have thrillers and mysteries and I'm sure romance, science fiction. I think I saw a science fiction post. Am I wrong?
yes, there's some historical fiction and some science fiction. There's dark romantasy, which is horror adjacent,
Yeah, for sure.
and the thing the two genres that dominate this one are romance and fantasy, and little specific subgenres of both of those. But one thing I was afraid of, especially so kind of close to Texas Horror Lit Fest, was that this would be dominated by horror, because I'm a horror writer,
Hmm.
part of the HWA Texas chapter, and I just figured that's what would flock to this event, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see that, really there's me and one other horror writer, I think, and that's it. And it's, everything, young adult, there's children's books, there's self-help and how to, there's basically memoirs and biography. So it really runs the gamut of all the genres. So you can find an author or find a table that's not really your cup of tea, and the very next table could be exactly what you're looking for.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I've always enjoyed the all genre. I mean, I love a good horror con too, so I'm not going to complain if we dominate. But I do enjoy checking out everybody else's stuff. A lot of the stuff I read doesn't. I mean, I believe everything is horror, and I always say that, but we know that it can be a different genre to get you there too. So, but I'm a big historical fiction reader and mysteries and all that kind of stuff. So it'll
Yeah,
be very
there's
good. It's always
that.
fun to see a good mix of people. And I do enjoy a good paranormal romance too, if it's done right. So, So that, and I think that feels like that's the big ones right now. When with romance, it does seem like it's all leaning in that direction. Um,
Yeah,
and then fantasy, of course, has got so many subgenres. You could easily find something fun to read in fantasy.
exactly.
Um, let's see. Is there is there going to be anything specific that you have on site that you want to talk about? Is there going to be? Are you guys doing
Yeah,
raffles? Are you doing anything like that?
exactly. Yes. So, this being the first time that I'm actually putting something together, um, I'm kind of trying to figure out what works best for the crowd.
Hmm.
And I don't want to leave out that Velicor Books, which just opened up here in Alito, they are actually co-hosting the event with me.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, and they'll be here. So I'm not doing everything by myself, and we're gonna have a kind of a whole just conglomerate of volunteers helping day of. But when it comes to the patrons that are coming to visit these authors, not only is it free of charge with which makes it more easy to walk through that door, but there are going to be raffles. There's going to be a romance basket that people can raffle to win,
Okay.
uh, a fantasy basket, a children's basket, and a horror basket.
Oh, very cool.
And so I was going to actually reach out to you and Patrick Harrison and Paul Tyndall and a few other guys about maybe contributing to that basket.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'd
So
be happy to.
yeah, and that way there's a little extra special for the people there, that not only are they meeting these authors, but they might get a little something extra out of it too. And there are free treats and drinks going to be provided for everyone that walks through the door, as well as the requisite tote bag, so that you can get your book haul and tote it around
Oh, that's
comfortably, or
awesome.
at least
And
slightly
so I'm
comfortable.
going to assume you said free entry, free parking.
Yes,
Okay, so it's perfect. It's a perfect thing for you to do. They're going to have air conditioning, so you got
yes,
a thing to spend the day, get some new books, and meet some authors. And that's the cool thing, because all these authors they're gonna want to meet you, and they get excited to explain what they put on the page. And I think that's always fun too, to kind of go around and talk to the different authors and see what inspired them to write whatever it is that they love to write. So that's always a fun
exactly.
thing too.
And I think that in addition to some very seasoned authors, there are authors there that are going to be doing this for the very first time.
That's
So,
awesome.
they're just as excited, just as anxious, and quite frankly, probably as nervous as a visitor who's never gone to one of these things, and you don't know the etiquette, or the proper way to kind of conduct yourself. I think it's going to be real laid back, real chill, and I think everyone's going to have a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like a great event. And so let's say it one more time. September 19th,
Yes.
10 to 4.
10 to 4, exactly.
Okay.
Saturday, September 19th, 10 to 4.
Very cool. And it's at the Lado. Sorry, say it again.
Community Center,
Okay, good.
that's 104 Robinson Court in Alito, Texas.
Sweet. And we'll have all that information down there, and then everybody can figure out how they want to do the raffle and look for the cool things. And is there anything else you want to talk about with the event?
Just that I hope everyone has a great time, and that we can pull it off in such a way that not only do we do it next year, but that possibly we do it in a bigger venue with even more authors and more horror represented, because
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would
I would
definitely be
always love
awesome.
to see more of that. Yeah,
For sure. We need to come in and rub elbows with everybody, because I think it only makes horror authors better, hanging out with other genre authors and seeing how everything's done, and then taking those ideas and warping them and turning them into terrible stories. So
well, and I think it helps other authors and other patrons understand that that horror writers aren't all
right.
cruel, negative, sadistic people that just want to warp minds
Some of the
and
nicest
cause
people I've
harm.
ever met, right? The most terrible things ever. And they're the nicest.
Exactly,
So yeah, it's always funny to watch people watch their preconceptions disappear as they talk to you or whatever, or see the other
exactly.
authors interact. So awesome. Well, I hope everybody heads out to Fort Worth, Aledo, and what is it about? Oh, a month away. We're a month out.
Yeah.
So, and then, find your next new favorite book and check out the authors and have a good time.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks for jumping on.
Thank you, man.
Take it easy.
All right. You
All right.
too.